Kentucky, Alabama, good. And for folks who are just joining, if you will, put your name, the state you're representing, and whether you are a CHW or an ally in the chat. And just as a reminder, we always do this because it's important to know who's in the room, right? We're all CHWs, we're all CHW allies, we're doing similar work, but you might see someone in here that you didn't know from your state, and it's a good way to connect with them, and then across state lines as well. So we appreciate everybody always doing that each time we get together. Virginia, great. Got some more Mississippi, North Carolina, very good. I don't see anybody else joining in on my end. Kim, do you see anybody else? Are we good to go ahead and get started? Okay. All right. Well, again, everyone, good morning, and welcome. I am your facilitator for today. Again, Kayla from South Carolina, and I am a CHW. So what we're going to do now is pass it off to Christine. Hey, Christine, who's going to introduce our presenters for today.
Good morning, everyone. I have the privilege of introducing our presenters for today. The presentation will be multiple sclerosis in the CHW workforce, and I'll be introducing Lauren Corley and Emma Riederhoft. Emma, please pardon me if I mispronounce that. You can correct me once you start the presentation. Lauren Corley is the healthcare stakeholder engagement manager, Southeast region at the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, supporting Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Puerto Rico, and Tennessee. Her role focuses on serving as the primary team member to healthcare providers and stakeholders who care for individuals living with multiple sclerosis. Lauren's responsibilities include engagement of and the outreach to healthcare stakeholders, supporting access to care, identifying gaps in MS care with an emphasis on neurological deserts, and assisting in the recruitment of the next generation of MS neurologists. Lauren has previous experience in collaborating with healthcare providers and hospital service lines to increase priority funding. She received a Bachelor of Arts from the University of South Florida and is currently pursuing a Master of Public Health from Louisiana State University. She is a native of Jacksonville, Florida, where she resides. Next up, we have Emma. Emma has an MSW and works on the healthcare access team for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society as manager, healthcare stakeholder engagement manager. Emma supports the Mid-Atlantic states, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, DC, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Emma is passionate and innovative approaches to systemic problems. She enjoys collaborating with others to achieve common goals and is a facilitator of inclusive conversations, including individuals who will be impacted by organizational decisions. She received her Bachelor of Social Work degree from the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and her Master of Social Work degree from Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you, ladies, for allowing me to introduce you all. I will turn it over to you.
Well, thank you so much. I think Lauren's going to go ahead and share the screen. But good morning, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day so far, and thanks so much for having us. We're super excited to be here with you today. March is MS Awareness Month, and what a better time than now. Lauren, just heads up, you're sharing the slide with the notes as well. There you go. To share this information from the Society with you all. My name's Emma Wiederhoft, and I work on our healthcare access team, and I'm here with my colleague, Lauren.
Great. And I am Lauren Corley. It's a pleasure to work with Emma. Thank you so much for inviting us to speak today. We're really excited to be able to come and share about MS with you all. We're just so thankful for the really important work y'all do in the Southeast. Your boots on the ground, you're the front lines. And so this is just a pleasure to be here today with you guys.
If there are any questions throughout the presentation today, please feel free to share those in the chat, and we'll make sure to share those at the end of the presentation. Or if there's something you would like to raise in the moment, feel free to raise your hand and we'll go ahead and discuss that as well.
Great. Oh, is this me, Emma?
Mhm.
Here are our learning objectives for today. These are our goals for today: to demonstrate an understanding of MS. Really, we're going to go over signs and symptoms, and our resources we have available to hopefully help you all in the field. Identify who makes the MS comprehensive care team, which we know is very important, which includes everybody. Identify symptom management strategies and lifestyle modifications to achieve wellness. And once again, the resources that we have available at the MS Society. Hopefully, it'll be helpful.
Great. So the National MS Society exists because there are 1 million people in the United States who live with MS, who wake up every day and face the challenges of the disease, and many others will be diagnosed in the future. Our mission is to cure MS while ensuring every person has what they need to live their best lives today. We wanted to start out today with a question for you all to have a better understanding of everyone who's tuning in this morning. In the chat, can you please let us know, do you provide care for individuals living with MS? If so, how many? Thank you.
Get started.
Great. So we'll start today, as Lauren mentioned, with a high-level overview of multiple sclerosis. So as I had mentioned just a second ago, there's nearly over 1 million people living with MS in the United States and more than 2.8 million folks worldwide. The exact cause of MS is unknown, but we know that something activates the immune system to attack the central nervous system, which controls everything we do. MS is an unpredictable, often disabling disease of the central nervous system that disrupts the flow of information within the brain and between the brain and body. The central nervous system is like a system of electrical cords and a protective cover over those cords, which we call the myelin sheath, similar to insulation, is being attacked. When that happens, it causes a disruption in the flow of information between the brain and the body. So now I wanted to cover some signs and symptoms that are consistent with MS. And something kind of important to note is that where lesions occur on the brain or spinal cord for an MS patient connects to the symptoms that the individual will present with. So, for example, if a patient is experiencing visual symptoms such as optic neuritis, blurred vision, or vision loss with one eye, that would correlate to where that lesion occurs on their brain or spinal cord. Other symptoms, such as motor, could include trunk or extremity weakness, spasticity, hyperflexia, gait disturbance, or imbalance. There could be sensory symptoms, which often look like numbness or tingling, or squeezing around the torso. Balance issues could include tremor, lack of muscle coordination and control. There could be some bladder and bowel dysfunction issues around urinary frequency, urgency or retention, incontinence, frequent UTI or constipation. And lastly, something to keep an eye out for is mood and cognition, signs of depression, anxiety, or impairment of memory, attention, concentration, or information speed processing. And we'll say this probably several times throughout this presentation, but these signs and symptoms really look different person to person and can truly look different day to day or even hour to hour. Optimal management of MS is best achieved by working with a comprehensive team of professionals based on the needs of each individual. The National MS Society recognizes the critical role that community health workers play as part of that care team. These professionals remove barriers to care and facilitate access by addressing the social drivers of health. Healthcare professionals also may be the first to recognize early signs and symptoms of MS while working out in the community. When we consider our optimal wellness in multiple sclerosis, we need to understand that for treating MS, there are over a dozen different disease-modifying therapies that treat the relapsing form of multiple sclerosis. But we also know that there are other factors that influence optimal wellness. This can include managing symptoms, lifestyle modification, diet, exercise, emotional well-being, and having a sense of purpose in life. It is, again, it is important to remember that treatment and care for every individual will look different. And this next slide kind of goes into that treatment piece and how that can look different for everyone. There are oral, injectable, and infusible disease-modifying therapies. They require different frequencies of administration. Some might be 2 times a day, others may be 1 time a day or 3 times a week, bi-weekly, monthly, or maybe every 6 months or annually. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach to DMTs, so when you're working with clients living with MS, type of administration and frequency of that administration may vary. Lauren and I were actually just having a really great conversation about DMTs and accessibility for many people who are living with MS. So this could really look different region to region in a more urban area or a more rural area and having that accessibility. For example, folks might not have the ability to go into a clinic or an infusion suite to get their disease-modifying therapy, or perhaps they're able to receive that infusion at home. So how providers truly decide which DMT is right for the patient has so many factors, but really focused on that accessibility and ability to get to the clinic is definitely something that is considered.
Mhm.
So what do the disease-modifying therapies do? Unlike antibiotic medicines we take for acute conditions like strep throat or bronchitis, or symptom management medications we take for headache or cold, the disease-modifying therapies are designed for long-term use. The medications will not cure MS or make it feel better, and they're designed to reduce the number and severity of attacks and alter the course of the disease. Like I mentioned earlier, when the myelin sheath is being attacked, this is really what those DMTs are focused on. It's virtually impossible for a person to know if the drug is working at any given time. And the sooner a patient receives a diagnosis and gets on a disease-modifying therapy, the better to delay or prevent disability of progression of MS. This is where community health workers play a unique and important role in the MS journey. Community health workers work closely with their clients and can help decrease that time to diagnosis by recognizing those early signs and symptoms I mentioned earlier, and coordinating care, advocating for their clients, and providing support. Lauren's going to cover a little bit more about that later, about resources we have for that.
Great.
So in summary, for the first part of our presentation, which was a higher level overview of MS, some things I want y'all to walk away with today. MS is a chronic, unpredictable disease of the central nervous system. The cause of MS is still unknown, and it affects each person differently. Optimal management of MS is achieved by a comprehensive and multidisciplinary team, and wellness requires both disease modification and lifestyle prevention interventions. So, handing it off to you, Lauren. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. All right, sorry for the slides moving around. My screen was a little wonky, but I think we're good now. So what are the key barriers to accessing treatment for MS? And these are kind of some key components to patient engagement is key with MS because the patient really is their own advocate. You know, they're working with the many different comprehensive care providers that Emma mentioned. And so we're looking at factors for adherence to include, which include a lack of, these are issues that we're trying to that patients do face: the lack of knowledge about MS, unrealistic expectations, denial of disease, the side effects of those DMTs. Emma mentioned also, the DMTs, may not help someone to feel like they're feeling better. They may actually feel worse, even though the DMT may be working. So that constant intake of medicine, staying on that treatment plan that they're on. Cultural factors are a big component, really debunking who gets MS. Everyone can get MS. There was a typical demographic before of middle-aged white women. Well, that's not the case. We're seeing a lot more diagnosis in younger individuals, different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, different demographics. That's a really key part we're working to debunk as a society. Also, lack of support is a key piece, that social connection, social network, the care team, the caregiver is so important with MS. And then also distrust in the medical community has been an issue. Um, Looking at social determinants of health, which I'm sure many of y'all are very familiar with social determinants of health as community health workers, but we're really looking as with any chronic disease, MS, the social determinants are barriers to care, like Emma and I discussed, with access to care and treatments, income, education, where you live, your neighborhood. That once again, that social network is component. And a recent study came out that really divide these into two segments: this individual segment and the social infrastructure segment. We're looking at those key components, at looking at people living with MS. Of course, a big factor is always the social economic status of an individual too, that we're really trying to look at, bridging barriers to care with MS. So segueing to, we identify the social barriers. What is MS? So these are what our current resources are available to you and your patients to help. So we have many brochures and web pages, lots of information for the practitioner, the provider, as well as the patient on what is MS. We have a lot of newly diagnosed components. We actually have a virtual program with the provider. They can ask questions, virtual support groups for newly diagnosed. To remind people, the MS is not a death sentence. You can have a thriving, just fantastic life living with MS. Just here are some great ways and supports to help you with that. The DMT information Emma shared is also in our brochure and also available on our website for anyone to see and kind of learn about the differences in the orals, the injections, and the infusions, and just kind of understand a little bit more about those treatment options, symptom management. What are the symptoms and signs that are to watch for to possibly send someone to a neurologist, or even just have their primary care check on, dizziness, tingling in the hands, vision. Vision is the optic component that I think Emma mentioned earlier is a big piece with MS. So just looking for those early signs and symptoms, we have that all available on our webpage. And additional information for patients, but especially their care partners, because they're part of that care team that's so essential for people living with MS. We have our MS Navigator program, which is available to anyone living with MS and their care partners. It's pretty much outside a clinic. They're there to help with understanding healthcare, helping with a financial plan, locating resources in someone's community and area to then connect them with those resources or even national resources that are available. A big piece that the navigators help out with in the fall is open enrollment for Medicare and Medicaid, really helping patients understand their benefits. They can utilize those benefits, utilize who's qualified for it, and just insurance as a whole. Navigators also, connect with emotional support groups, whether it be virtual or in person. They really are available to be that one-stop shop to help individuals with MS learn how to navigate their MS and also connect them with other supports if we don't have it available. We also have different speaking opportunities. We have I'll notice here, Ask MS Expert, which is available in Spanish and English. We also have it specific to veterans. We have a big whole component in supporting veterans. We have a partnership with the VA. Finding doctors and resources is a great tool on our website, because that's where you can go in and see the providers that we recommend per zip code throughout the country, that can be referred to for individuals living with MS, or possibly even to go have a diagnosis or second opinion with MS. Then we have our support groups, as well, as I mentioned, they're in person and virtual throughout the country to help people connect with each other and caregivers. And we have many educational programs too throughout the country. Some are in person, some are virtual. We also have resources for our healthcare providers, which is y'all as well. So education and services, we have CMEs, we have courses on what is MS. We also can refer out to CME has some great fundamentals on MS that we share. We have some rehab focused ones too. We have exercise and service courses on being a certified wellness coach or personal trainer with MS. And we also have a whole YouTube set of exercises for patients at different levels. One of our colleagues who lives at the Mass, who is a personal trainer, put those together. So a plethora on there. Take a look at it. Let us know if you have any questions. Emma and our team, we're here to help and connect y'all any way we can, and also to listen to what you're saying so we can enhance these resources and customize them to what you need in your area. So that's our presentation for today. I have not been checking the chat. So Emma, do we have any questions in the chat? I'm going to try and stop sharing now.
Think any questions have come in yet. I went ahead when you were sharing about resources, dropped the information for our MS Navigator, Ask the MS Expert, finding doctors and resources, and support groups. But we can definitely follow up with an email that includes these resources as well, and also the referral form for providers as well.
Yes, we can share different exercises. I have that on a list. I can try and put that in the chat real quick, where I can send it as an email. We can definitely do those for you all. Oh, we have a question. Kismet.
Good morning. How are you all?
Good morning.
My question is about the navigator process. If a CHW would be interested in becoming a navigator, is there a process or training for that, or you have to be an actual MS employee?
That's a really good question, and that's something I need to add to my presentation. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes, our navigators are full-time employees with the society. Many of them are social workers and have a social worker background, but yeah, they are full-time employees. And I'm so glad you brought that up too, because part of the navigator program is if you refer someone to navigators, they're going to continue with that same navigator. They'll get a 30-minute appointment, like it's kind of like coaching as well, coaching program appointment. And every time they reconnect navigator, they'll get that same navigator to support them.
Lauren, to piggyback off of that and add to Kismet's question, if this presentation excited you and you're interested in kind of getting involved with us, we do have a program called our MS Ambassadors, where you can kind of be a liaison, and you will have additional information on the society and information for local resources. So if that's something that interests you, let us know. We can get you connected, and that's just like kind of an additional way that you can partner with us if you're interested.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
And our
Thank you.
our contact room is on that slide. We can put it in the chat as well. Feel free to reach out to us. We just
Okay.
want to be supportive, and also we want to hear, how can we better support you in your areas.
And
Okay.
I'm putting in the chat the states that I cover, and Lauren will go ahead and put the states she covers, but feel free to reach out to either one of us if anything gets confusing. We'll make sure your message gets to the right person.
And I'll put those exercises in a minute. I'm gonna put that link in. I gotta hunt them down for a second. I'll add them in.
Thanks, Vicky, for sharing that in the chat.
Are there any more questions for Emma and Lauren after that great presentation? Whether you want to drop it in the chat. And I saw your question about connectivity. I don't know, it might just be you. I think most people are okay with connectivity. So you might want to check on your end. But any other questions for Emma or for Lauren?
Well, I'll just say thank you on behalf of the society and me and Lauren for having us here today, and really reach out to us at any time you have a question or looking for resources. We're happy to be your partner and an extension in your work. So really thank you so much for having us this MS Awareness Month.
Yeah. And I just saw a question in the chat about the video. If it's okay with you, Kayla, I'm happy to share our slide deck. So anyone can utilize the slide deck and the resources and links in it as well.
See Kim nodding her head. So yeah, that would be great if you share the slide deck. Then also if you can put the link too for the CHW ambassadors or just the ambassadors, that would be great. So you can have everything in one spot. So thank you again for your presentation. I think just in the chat, we see thank yous as well. So yes, this information was very beneficial and helpful for us in the community as we work with our participants. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
All right, if nothing else for Emma and Lauren, we will continue on with our agenda. So next we'll have some committee updates for our Southeast Network and Kayak Summit Planning Meeting.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Kayla. A brief update about the upcoming Southeast CHW Network Summit that's being done in collaboration with Kayak, which is the Kentucky Association of Community Health Workers. Planning is moving ahead. We're very excited about the upcoming summit and the dates for the summit. Let me see if I can get the save the date pulled up. Is September the 18th and 19th, and it's going to be in Lexington, Kentucky. And I'm trying to get my screen to share the save the date. All right. Are y'all able to see the save the date?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, good. So the dates again are September 18th and 19th, and it's going to be in Lexington, Kentucky. If you are interested in being a part of the planning committee, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. The next combined planning meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, March 25th at 11 a.m. And then the Southeast CHW Network Planning Committee, the next meeting for that group is April 15th at 1 p.m. And both of those meetings are Eastern Standard Time. Also, a sign-up sheet for where you would like to help support for the summit has been shared. So if you're interested in signing up to provide support at the summit, please let us know and we'll send you that link so that you can sign up to volunteer your time at the summit. There are a number of different areas where you can volunteer, and also there are a number of different committees that you can volunteer to serve on to help with the planning process. Soledad was unable to be here today, but additional information will be coming forth regarding the upcoming summit. But please save the date, and we hope that you are planning to attend. We hope to have registration information coming out pretty soon, as well as additional information. Thank you so much, Kayla.
Thank you, Kim. And there was a question in the chat from Jennifer. They would like to know, how do we get links to sign up for the meetings or volunteer?
Okay. If you send me if you put your email address in the chat, we'll make sure that you get that information.
Okay. That was just put into the chat, Kim, for you to reach out to Jennifer. Are there
Okay.
any other questions for Kim on our Southeast Network and Kayak Summit planning? Okay, hearing nothing. Thank you so much, Kim, for that updates. We will move along with our agenda to our monthly state updates. And Christine, are you ready for that?
Yes, I am ready. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Kayla. In addition to our individual state updates, we have decided to offer up our monthly facilitation efforts to our CHWs that are part of the network. So don't all shoot me an email at once, but all shoot me an email at once. For the month that you would like to assist us with facilitating these meetings, very similar to what Kayla has done so graciously here today. She's done a phenomenal job. Y'all give her a hand clap in the chat. We also get so many requests for facilitation efforts and trainings and ways to improve ourselves professionally. So the committee and I thought it not robbery to offer this extension to you all to be a part. So drop your month that you'd like to facilitate in the chat or shoot me an email. But there will be an official email with the sign-up sheet following this meeting. So next up, we have the first state presenting is Alabama.
Good morning, everybody. Is it still morning? Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I'm Felicia Barrow, and I'm here representing Connection Health. And just a quick update for Alabama. First of all, we want to extend our thoughts and prayers to those who were impacted by the recent storms. We know that there was a lot of devastation in a lot of areas. So they are in our prayers, and we are thankful that we're here today. But I also want to give a shout out to Bakari Thompson, a community health worker in Alabama who participated recently in the Capitol Hill visit. Go Bakari. He got a lot of accolades from Partners in Health staff. And I'll just read a quote really quick from one of the Partners in Health team members. He seems very quiet at first, but when he speaks clearly and with great authority and conviction. Bakari's commitment to his community was evident in every conversation. They thought he was a mayor. So we're so excited about Bakari's experience at the Capitol Hill visit. It just impacted him greatly. So we want to thank Nashua and Partners in Health and everybody involved that supported community health workers in this effort. Bakari is going to be addressing the Alabama Coalition later this month. So we're excited to hear from him. Second thing, Alabama has established its community health worker organization or association. I'm sorry. The Alabama Community Health Worker Association was just established about 2 weeks ago. so we're really excited for everything that will come as a result. And of course, as always, we need everybody's help getting everything established. Many thanks to the CHW team in Alabama, Dr. Lucinia Dunn, State Representative Phil Ensler for helping to provide some of those funds to assist in this effort. Dr. Dunn has agreed to host a retreat, an organizational retreat. So we're going to be talking about capacity building and everything that goes along with that, strategic planning. So we're excited. We're really excited about that. And another shout out to one of Alabama's legislators, Senator Bobby Singleton, has indicated to us that he is interested in introducing a CHW certification bill this session in the legislative session. So we're excited about that. We are following it closely, having conversations with his office to make sure that anything they need, they can get it from us. And of course, we will reach out to all of you experienced folks with this certification, CHW certification, to kind of help inform the language that they're putting in Alabama's legislation. There also have been some high-level conversations with Alabama Medicaid about a state plan amendment to allow for reimbursement for CHW services. So we're excited about that. And lastly, the Alabama Coalition's work group is really close to bringing a recommendation to the full body for standardization of CHW training in Alabama. So we're excited about that as well. We're having conversations with our community colleges to assist us in the process of making sure anyone who wants to be trained and in the core competencies and, just make sure that they are equipped to carry out this important work, that the community colleges are there to assist us as well. So That's it for Alabama, but thank you so much for allowing this opportunity for an update.
Thank you so much for that. That's it. That was pretty robust. Thank you so much for sharing the good things that are going on in Alabama. Next, we have South Carolina up next. Terry.
I mean, really, well done, Alabama. I know it's been a long, hard struggle to get there, and so proud. If you need us for anything, again, just holler, reach out. We're happy to support you every way we can. Well, in South Carolina, we're mighty excited. Our 2025 class of CHW ambassadors meets this week, the end of this week, Thursday and Friday. We're so excited to have that that class kickoff. And the Center for Community Health Alignment and the South Carolina Community Health Worker Association are really partnering this year to make this bigger and better. So we're going to start off with Lisa Renee doing 2 days on leadership. I'm going to come in and talk about some advocacy. And this year, part of what the community, the ambassadors will be doing is really learning how to step up to advocacy for community health workers in South Carolina. So we're excited about that. Our recertification is in full swing, and there's been a tremendous amount of work done around that. We're so excited. This year, we're gonna have a huge push about tiered certification. So if you've been a community health worker at least 4 years or at least 8 years, and you qualify to be a 2 or a 3, we're really going to push that out because it's so important that community health workers have the opportunity to grow in our profession without leaving it. So we're excited to support our folks around this. April 2nd will be the South Carolina Community Health Worker Advocacy Day at our State House. We're meeting weekly to prepare for that. And what we're asking is for our community health workers to build relationships with their House members and their Senate members and the State House here, so that they can become not just CHW allies, but CHW champions. So when things about us or around us come up, they are going to look to us, ask us what we think about it, and then be able to really advocate for community health workers. We are not lobbying. That's not what we do. We educate and build relationships, right? Because that's what we're great at. And so we're out building champions is what we really hope to do. I wanted to take just a moment to also say that part of what we're doing in South Carolina is we're hoping, or we're trying to deal with fears and anxiety and the loss of employment. So we have community health workers in South Carolina who've already lost jobs during this time when funding looks precarious. So we are gathering information. We're sending out a survey to our folks because we are constantly looking for new partnerships and new ways we can challenge community health worker organizations to be innovative and creative and looking at new opportunities for funding and collaboration. So again, this is precarious times. Things are going to get difficult. I mean, in South Carolina, when the tax credits, and they probably will, they're going to expire at the end of this year, marketplace tax credits, there will be 500,000 community members, folks in South Carolina who will be affected by that. And we know that we already know that premiums will rise between 150 and 250%. And so many people will not be able to afford coverage. We have to be innovative. We have to be on top of it. We have to work hard to do everything we can to protect our folks. And finally, South Carolina had a great team of folks to go to the Hill as well, and we're really proud of them and all the hard work that each one of our South Carolina ambassadors did in DC. So snaps, and if y'all, if you need us, holler.
Thank you, Terry, so much for that update. We are looking forward to working with the ambassadors this week, Thursday and Friday. So that was a great update to share as well. Next up on our list, we have Mississippi.
Good morning again, everybody. Gonna make this short and brief. So February the 21st, we had our Mississippi Capital Day. We had over 30 CHWs that came out, and we also had the assistance of one of our House of Representative District 16, Mr. Ricky Thompson, and he took all the CHWs to the chamber. They met their representatives, and they were able to talk to some of the senators. And I believe, this is my belief, because of that, there was a bill that was introduced this year for CHW certification and reimbursement, House Bill 1401, and on March 11th, 2025, it passed. So it is now into law. We will be the next few months, along with the State Department of Health and Medicaid, to map that out and see how that goes, because in the bill it says as of January 2026, you can no longer say you're a CHW if you're not certified. So the certification is for us. Yay, Mississippi. Also, I also put in the chat, we are gearing up for our CHW Summit, which is June 3rd through the 4th, and we will have the pleasure of having, let me say that, Lisa Renee and Soledad and the Envision team to come back and to share their brilliant knowledge and wealth of knowledge with us again during our conference. And so we're gearing up for that right now. So that's really basically all I have for Mississippi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kismet. That was a great update from Mississippi as well. So many great things going on within our network. Next up, we have Tennessee.
Good morning. I'm Lori Hoffma from the Tennessee CHW Association. Nikayla Boyd, our executive director, is on this call, but she's having some technical difficulties. So she's listening in, but I'll be giving the update for Tennessee. And we've had some great updates so far, so it's tough to follow all that. Congratulations to everyone. We have been working on program accreditation. Last August, we accredited the first 4 programs in Tennessee. Essentially, we partner with NCQA, which is the National Committee for Quality Assurance, and TennCare, which is our Medicaid association and programs. And we have a group of CHWs and CHW program supervisors who look at all the accreditation standards. Programs have to put together a package of documents that document their policies and procedures. Then there's an interview and ratings and a lot of discussion. And again, we're very pleased. Last August, we did our first 4 programs, and 2 new programs just went through that process again. and will receive certification this month. So we have multiple, it's a pilot process to sort of go through, we developed the process a year ago. Now we're taking programs through it. And there are 12 additional programs that are lined up to go through as well. So that's been a very exciting part of our last 6 months, and it will continue. We are our CHW training program of Tennessee is a large program. We have 300 CHWs enrolled right now. It's a partnership with Vanderbilt University School of Nursing and the Rural Health Association. And we have been excited because we've had many graduates. Last month we had our second graduation celebration. We have approximately 30 more graduates that will be graduating this month. And we have both in over 100 hours of training in this program, as well as upskilling for those who are already CHWs and experienced. We have an upskilling program. So we're very excited about that as well. We are also going to a day on the Hill. We're partnering with the Tennessee Charitable Care Network. They have a lot of safety net clinics across the state that are members of that organization, and many of those clinics employ CHWs. So we're going to be joining them next week in Tennessee on the Hill. And there is also a budget amendment that they are supporting for safety net clinics in Tennessee. So that's our action on the Hill. And very exciting for us, last month we launched our membership program, which we have been working on all fall in terms of getting ready with developing our website to be able to handle members and joining. And we have both organizational membership as well as individual membership. And we are very excited about promoting it. We started a newsletter and have had a lot of folks going to our website and signing up to get our newsletter and to learn more about us. So that has been a very exciting part of the last few months, and we know it will continue. We're looking forward to having more and more members. Thanks very much. If there are any questions for any of us, you can reach out. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lori. We appreciate that update from Tennessee. And last but certainly not least, we have Virginia.
Good morning, everyone. I am grateful to be here and to be part of these conversations. I wanted to share with you, let me stop sharing because I got to find the page. I wanted to share what's going on in Virginia. We have been working diligently to address or to promote awareness about CHW legislative actions and in benefits for a Medicaid reimbursement model. And so what you see here on the screen is actually, that's the end of the day when we gather and debrief about what had transpired. We did go to the Hill here in Virginia, and we spent some time with legislators, CHW's led groups, and met with their corresponding legislators. This is where we actually were invited to and recognized to the Senate floor, and we stood in front of legislators throughout the state of Virginia, and we were welcome. This is a picture of the champion who led efforts along with the association to move legislation back in 2018, where certification or title protections were codified. And now she was our guest speaker. That is our former boss at the health department. I worked under his leadership, and now he is the mayor of the city of Richmond. And so he was also a spokesperson and champion for community health workers. Here you will see several community health workers connecting with legislators, walking down the aisles at the General Assembly. This is a dear friend, and she's a fierce advocate for legislation. She passed, actually, I'm learning from her. She's my mentor. And she passed legislation to decriminalize marijuana here in the state of Virginia. So she was instrumental in supporting us as grassroots organization. And you may see some familiar faces. And we also had uh, representation from various populations. We had the deaf and hard of hearing. If you can see right there, the signing occurring might be very subtle, but we wanted to engage with all community health workers in leadership positions and partner with many organizations. So that was as far as our advocacy day. In the month of March, we actually reached a milestone, a very important milestone as it relates to training. Now we have become a state-approved doula training provider. And so we are now offering both community health worker training and a doula training for those CHWs or community members who want to explore or have an interest in or want to specialize as a doula in the state of Virginia so that you can have a little bit of background. Some of the legislation was carved in a way where community health workers, in order to amplify and be funded for their position, they had to be matched in areas where there were high mortality rates. And therefore, in order for us to support them and ensure that there's some job security and specialization, we decided to be one of those 13 agencies that also provide training, not just for our best interests of our professional community, but also for the communities at large. Lastly, we are, as an association, an umbrella, focus on CHW development and career advancement. And so far, we have identified 325 CHWs that are certified at the moment. That is as of February of 2025. In the upcoming months, we will be focusing on other efforts, outreach efforts, being that the weather is becoming a little bit more friendlier. And so we want to be more visible in communities. And one of those events, which are scheduled for the month of April, has to do with the National Public Health Week. And we will also amplify and celebrate community health workers with the actual signage that says, this is public health. And so that is the actual plan. And we look to engage community members and community health workers in understanding the impact that public health has, whether it's the water, earth, or community infrastructure. So that's what we have so far for Virginia. Thank you for allowing us to share.
Thank you so much, Anthony, for that update from Virginia. Everyone has so many wonderful things going on. Thank you for keeping us informed, because when one wins, we all wins. We all win. So excuse me for that. But thank you so much again for sharing. If you'd like to go ahead and select your month, you can go ahead and drop your name, state, and the month in the chat. Otherwise, just be on the lookout for a follow-up email for facilitation efforts for these meetings going forward. Thank you. Kayla, it's back to you.
Thank you, Christine. Incredible updates from everybody across the Southeast, and I'm sure even the states that we didn't get to hear from this time have incredible updates as well. Just hearing all the work that we are doing makes me incredibly proud to be a CHW and then a CHW in the Southeast specifically. So great work to everybody. We will continue to lead the way in the efforts that we do and support each other through everything that we have going on as well. Um, Final part of our meeting, I'm going to pass it to Kim just for a couple of minutes wrap up and final discussion. So, Kim.
Thank you, Kayla. First, I just want to echo Kayla about state updates.
Kim, you're a little bit low. I would say you might want to come closer to your microphone or.
All right, can y'all hear me better now?
That's better.
Okay. Thank you, Kayla. I just wanted to echo Christine and Kayla's remarks regarding the state updates. Awesome work being done. Very exciting things going on in each of the states that shared today, and likewise, I'm sure in the others. So thank you so much for sharing all the great, impactful work that you all are doing in your respective areas. So, first thing is that we want to begin doing a network meeting evaluation just to get some feedback from you, brief feedback from you regarding your experiences during the monthly meetings. So, in a brief moment, I'll be launching a quick poll to get some feedback from you regarding your experience today, and then we will begin doing this after each meeting each month. Additionally, we want to just give you another opportunity to let us know about any interested speakers or topics that may be of interest from this group. We do want to hear from the network members regarding what you want to see here monthly. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us to provide names of speakers and topics that you all are interested in, and we'll do our level best to reach out to those individuals to try to get them scheduled to share during the monthly meetings. And now we want to open up the floor. If there are any other updates that folks who did not have an opportunity to share today, this is an opportunity to do so. So the floor is now open, and I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll. If you could be so kind to complete it before you leave today, that will be great. It is brief. So thank you in advance for completing the poll.
Kimberly, real quickly, I want to remind everybody about the collab meetings, the Southeast collab meetings. So make sure that you're attending if you can. It's going to be monthly. We come on Wednesday. This time it'll be Wednesday, March 19th, 12 to 1 Eastern time. And this month it'll be acquiring knowledge in perinatal mental health matters and making a difference when serving my community. So please join us. I'm going to drop the registration link in the chat.
Thank you, Terry.
Terry, thank you for that update. Looks like you and Rebecca had the same thought, and she dropped the link in the chat as well.
Okay, cool. There we go. Thank you, Rebecca.
I'm also dropping a link in the chat for the meeting topics and speaker sign up sheet. If you're interested in being a speaker, please just drop your name in the chat, in this form, and we'll be sure to follow up with you along with your contact information. Any other updates or announcements that anyone would like to share at this time?
All right, Kim, hearing nothing, I'll hop in here and wrap us up for today. So just in the chat as well, along with the link for the collabs that Rebecca put in English, Rebecca also dropped a link for the Spanish collabs as well, if you are interested in hearing the presentation in Spanish. Um, and then Kim, as she mentioned, dropped the link if you would like to be a presenter or a speaker for our meetings. That will be helpful as well. And just a shameless plug for others in our CHW network, for the facilitation portion that I did. It was very, very easy to support Kim and Christine and often Soledad as well in these efforts. I was able to get the agenda in advance. I was able to ask them questions and they were very, very responsive to that. So if you are interested in supporting our own coalition here and our leadership, I encourage you to do so. It's been a great process as well, and very, very painless too. So just wanted to put that shameless plug out there. And lastly, as a reminder, our next meeting will be Tuesday, April the 15th. It's 10:30 to 12 if you are on Eastern time and 9:30 to 11 if you are on Central time. Um, and And Lynette, I see you put a question in the chat here. How do we get the code for this meeting for CHW? So, Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, but there should have been a link that went out like a calendar invite for you to register for all of the Southeast meetings, network meetings. And go ahead, Kim. I see you got some. Go ahead.
Yes, the link was sent via the listserv where you have to register to attend these meetings so that we're able to capture the needed information for the funders. And what we did is we sent out a calendar hold, but it does not include the link for these meetings. You have to register to attend. And that calendar hold was based on those who had registered. Because once you register, you should receive an email which will give you the link and information, but you have to put it on your calendar yourself. So if you follow up with me after this meeting, I can make sure you have what you need. I'll put my email in the chat.
Travis, I see your question as well. Is the next meeting April 15th or the 22nd? Says the Word document currently says the 22nd. Did I say the wrong date, Kim? I might have.
It should be the third Tuesday. No, it is April 15th, so that's a typo that we'll get corrected. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you, Travis, for highlighting that. So it is April 15th. I see some emails that will reach and Kim will reach out to you all. Well, that's Kim's email. So if you all have questions about how to get included or looped in, so it's a calendar invite, a standing invite, reach out to Kim. And if nothing else, this was a great meeting and we will give you all a little bit of time back in your day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for facilitating today's
Thank you,
meeting.
Kayla. Awesome job.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.